Nobody wants to be a mushroom. And if you're not sure what I mean, then I would recommend go and see how they grow mushrooms. I'll leave that thought with you. But nobody wants to be a mushroom. People want to be involved. They want to be allowed to be part of the team. They want to be allowed to give information and share. And that is a motivator. A big part of that for growth is education as well. Empowering people to go and learn. Don't be afraid that if people go and learn and people do training and people start to get involved in things that apparently are your job, that they're going to take your job from you. I've always had the philosophy as a manager and as a leader that I'll give my chair up when I'm ready to give it up, but I want you to want it. And that's the way you must have that confidence in yourself. And that is the best behavior to have. That's the best belief, is having confidence to empower your team. It's essential for the growth of an association, a business, you personally too, because you're able to gain so much information and so much knowledge from the people that work around you. You have to understand you're not actually the smartest person in the room. You've got to your leadership role because you're smart, because you have the skills to know how to obtain the information and the knowledge. And that's from the people that you bring around you. You know, some of the best leaders that I've ever met are surrounded by wonderful lieutenants. That's the thing, as the captain and all the lieutenants, and they're the ones that help keep the captain up there. That's called empowerment. That's allowing people to use their head and to be able to give you the information, and it shows trust. And again, you are going to get that engagement and trust from your team just by understanding that they've all got individual talents. You'd be surprised the talents and the sort of the input you can get from the most unusual person. I always remember when I was a very young manager, and I hate to tell you, but I became a manager at the sweet age of 18, which was totally insane. I was such a smarty. I thought I was so clever and brilliant. I'm really not sure how I did it, but anyway, I winged it and achieved it, and I kept on going. But when I was in my 20s, I had spent a whole week with my team trying to resolve a real major issue on something. And on a Saturday, we used to have this young lady used to come in from high school to do a bit of clerical work and work experience. And she overheard. We never thought we'd ask her because she's a kid. What does she know? So she overheard us having a conversation over lunch, and she gave us the solution. What about if? So the smartest leaders, the smartest people are the ones that listen to those around them and understand your team's talents, help them to develop them. Don't be afraid. Send them on training courses. Teach them how to be better. Teach them how to do things that maybe they're not even sure about doing. Interesting. I was listening to the previous speaker and I was just laughing because I was always that introvert in the room, but I was trained how not to be. And you don't have to accept things from your team. You can help your team come out of their shells, and then you've got their talents coming out as well. Mentor them and help them along the way. And delegate things to them, but delegate some of your work to them. Don't be overwhelmed. Somebody said recently about, how do I do that if I've got my job to do? How can I manage these people and do this if I've got my job to do? Delegate bits of your job, break bits off the cake and hand it around. Your workload goes down. You get the talent coming in from your team. You can then become a better leader because of that. But then don't micromanage. Don't hover like a helicopter over their heads. Okay? Make sure that you are in control of where you are, and just say, come back to me. Bring things back to me when you're ready. And then if they didn't quite get it right, the way to do it is to mentor them and explain how that could be corrected, or it's a good learning curve for you. It's a good way to be able to see where you're going and grow from that. It's a great way of handling it. So coming to the end, I probably have no questions, so they're going to throw me off pretty quickly. But just going through this as a final point, these are the 5 elements that I really seriously want you to consider. Communication. Learn to communicate with everybody. Communication up the ladder and communication to those that work for you. Ensure that you understand what people are saying, listen and focus. Don't wander off with your eyes around the room. Understand who people are and appreciate who the individuals are that work for you, and get to know them and understand them. Even if you have a sticky note, one of the loveliest things that Vicky, I know, always has sticky notes. I'm a sticky note person too. If you need a whole strip of sticky notes for every member of your staff with 3 points, individual points, do it that way if you have to. But it really, appreciation is phenomenal. Continue to be ethical. Doesn't matter how hard you're pushed. There's a lot of unethical behavior in the world at the moment, and people seem to think that that's okay because those unethical people are sort of winning. Don't get caught in that trap. Continue to be ethical and honest, and you will become a better leader. You will gain respect, and you will retain your own personal faith in yourself. Be decisive. It's like jumping off a cliff with a parachute on your back. You know you've got the parachute, but you have to know that when you pull the string, it's going to go up because you packed it yourself. That's the best analogy I can give you on decisiveness. You pack your own bag with all the information, you get all the knowledge together, you zip the bag up, you put it on your back, and then you jump. And you know that the parachute will open. And, you have to have faith in yourself as a leader, and then you will show that you are a good leader and your team will be with you. And empowerment as the final piece for me is really having a trust in your team, understanding who your team are, pulling out all those talents that are hidden and allowing people to come forward. It's really important to understand that if you ask somebody within your team to do something that they would never have expected you to ask them to do or have the faith in them to do, it's such a winner. It's the engagement piece. If you follow through these 5 elements, you are going to so engage your team. They're going to be faithful to you even in the hard times. If you follow these 5 elements, you will have a strong team and they will follow you to the cliff. I have actually witnessed that within leaders that I've worked for. It does work. And it's worked for me. I ran my company for 25 years in America. I moved from Washington, D.C. to Florida. So I didn't take my original team with me. I left some behind, but they carried on working for me. They still had so much faith in me because they knew I followed these 5 elements. And I trusted them to do what they said they were going to do. Now, I love this expression because I will be honest with you, I never went to university. I didn't do a degree. I haven't got a degree. You will notice that I've been to Wharton, and I've been certified several times by Wharton. And the first time I ever went there, I was sent there, and I thought I am going to be the biggest fish out of water. because I've never been to university. I literally did learn my skills from the ground floor, but I blew them away, and I blew myself away, because it's all about self-education. Formal education is important, but self-education is more important. Do not take that lightly. The APMP wanting to start their leadership academy, get in there, be part of it. Keep looking. What are they doing? What are they doing for education? I mean, this conference is phenomenal because with what they're willing to give you. But go out by yourself. Go out and look at books, look at podcasts, go and join groups. Self-education is important, and you have the ability to do it. We all do. We can just bring our phone up and do it. So do follow that philosophy and follow the behavior of self-education and helping others to educate, and be an honest, true leader. I am hoping that I've got some questions, but if anybody has, other than any questions that come up today, if anybody just want to contact me and ask me a question, no question is stupid, and I am very happy to, as Methuselah, I'm very happy to share anything I can or resolve anybody's challenges. So please use my email. I'm on it all the time. I keep an eye on it. So please feel free to let me know. And thank you for your time today.
Thank you so much, Sue. This is Jay Denslow with APMP, and I love the quote at the end. So great, and also the way you framed your presentation with the 5 elements is fantastic, which is evidenced by how many questions we've had come in through chat. So I think you were understating yourself when you said there were no questions, because there are a lot, and I'm just going to kick right into them right here. The first one, you had talked about nonverbal cues, and our members kind of thought about that in terms of in-person meetings. And Aurora wanted to know, what are your best practices for interpreting engagement for virtual meetings like Teams, Zooms, conference calls, and so forth?
I think one of the biggest things, I will be honest with you, I always remember when we went into COVID and I had board meetings and lunches and all sorts of things on Zoom, and it was like, oh, help me God. It's hard enough trying to get these squirrels in a circle in a room, let alone on this. I think you have to lay down, if you're on a virtual meeting, you have to lay down some ground rules. That would be my best practice.